Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're tackling a question that pops up more and more. Do government first responders, police, fire, EMS use some kind of special, lockdown version of Apple's iOS?
That's a good question.
We got this report looking into Apple's government approach. So our mission today is to figure out, is it a special OS or is it standard iOS with, extra tools and management layered on top? Let's dive in.
Yeah, you'd think maybe they need something totally separate, right, for that kind of critical work. But the report suggests, well, a different path.
Which is?
Leveraging the standard iOS that, millions use, but bolstering it with specific government programs, security layers, and specialized apps.
Okay, so Apple has really built out offerings for government agencies.
Definitely. Things like the Apple Store for government that get some special pricing.
Crucial for budgets, I bet.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And dedicated support contacts who actually understand government procurement, different levels, federal, state, local.
And you mentioned management tools, like
Yeah.
Apple Business Manager, ABM.
Exactly. ABM is kind of the command center. It's not just for buying. It's for deploying devices automatically, getting them set up without IT needing to touch every single one.
Streamlines things.
Hugely. And distributing apps, pushing out the essential tools they need. Plus, managed Apple IDs for better control and security over government data.
And procurement itself seems smoother. They work with resellers, use existing government contracts like GSA schedules, NASA CEPI.
Right. They've integrated into those existing frameworks.
Yeah.
Even help with grant funding sometimes. So yeah, on the sales and logistics side, they seem pretty well set up for government work.
Okay, but what about the OS itself? What standard iOS features are already useful for a first responder just picking up an iPhone?
Quite a few, actually, right out of the box.
Hmm.
Emergency SOS is a big one. Quick way to call 911, and it shares their location automatically.
Which is critical in an emergency.
Definitely. And then there's medical ID.
Ah, the lock screen info.
Yeah. Responders can see vital details, allergies, medications, emergency contacts, even if the phone's locked. Could be life-saving.
And we get those government alerts, too, for disasters and local emergencies. That's built in.
Plus, the newer features. Crash detection on recent iPhones can automatically call for help after a severe car accident if the person can't respond.
Wow, okay.
And emergency SOS via satellite. If they're outside cellular range, like in a very rural area, they can still send emergency texts. But that depends on where you are geographically.
And accessibility features are important, too, making sure all responders can use these tools.
For sure. Now, obviously, security is paramount here.
It has to be. Sensitive data, critical communications.
And standard iOS has a pretty good reputation for security, Strong encryption, frequent updates to fix vulnerabilities, tools for remote management, like wiping a lost device.
But is there anything more specific for government? The report mentioned something called iNDIGO.
Ah, yes. iNDIGO.
Yeah.
iOS native devices in government operation.
Sounds like it could be that special version.
Well, interestingly, it seems iNDIGO isn't a separate operating system. It's more like a framework, a program to optimize standard iOS specifically for government use.
Optimize how?
Focusing on integrating smoothly with existing government IT, enhancing security with strong encryption, biometrics, MDM is key, and ensuring data privacy and compliance. Think for official use only type standards.
So mobile device management, MDM, is really the core piece for managing these devices in a government setting.
It really is. MDM lets the agency control security policies, configure settings remotely, lock or wipe devices if needed. The report suggests pairing a good MDM with Apple's own tools like ABM is the best approach.
So standard iOS can be made compliant, but iNDIGO helps formalize that process.
Kind of provides a roadmap and best practices for meeting those stricter government requirements, yeah. It ensures things adhere to industry and legal standards.
Okay, let's connect this to FirstNet. That's the dedicated network for first responders. How does Apple fit in there?
That's a really important piece. iNDIGO helps optimize the device side, and FirstNet provides that reliable, prioritized network connection.
So they work together.
Exactly. Apple actually gets certain iPhone models FirstNet certified.
Meaning
They've been tested specifically to work reliably on the FirstNet network. Some even get a FirstNet Ready badge, showing they're optimized for things like FirstNet 5G and mission-critical push-to-talk.
And FirstNet has its own app store or app catalog?
It does. A curated list of apps specifically for public safety, all vetted for reliability. Some are even FirstNet certified, meaning they meet even higher standards for performance on the network.
So back to our main question. It's not a special OS. It's more about these specialized apps running on a secured, managed, standard iOS.
That seems to be the core strategy. You have apps like First Mobile Responder for incident info, dispatch, mapping.
Right, I saw mentions of Tyler Technologies' Civisci,
Hmm.
providing broader software suites.
Yeah, CAD integration, messaging, records management, all on iOS. And 911 connected apps like Pulse Point Respond for CPR alerts, or Rapid Deploy Lightning for next-gen 911 features on mobile. Even wellness apps like Lighthouse.
So the ecosystem provides the specialization.
Precisely. It extends the standard platform for those very specific first responder needs.
Okay, so let's put a pin in it. A dedicated iOS version for first responders. Likely or unlikely?
Based on this, I'd say highly unlikely. Apple seems focused on securing the standard iOS, providing strong management tools like ABM and MDM integration, and fostering that third-party app ecosystem.
Why not a separate OS?
Well, it creates fragmentation. Updates might lag behind a main OS, which is bad for security. And Apple's been pretty firm about not creating backdoors or weakened versions. Enhancing the main platform fits their philosophy better.
Makes sense. So the upsides of using standard iOS this way?
User-friendliness, for one, strong security foundation, access to that huge app store, including the specialized ones, reliability, performance, integration with other Apple gear.
And the potential drawbacks.
Cost is often cited. iPhones aren't always the cheapest option. Less customization than, say, Android. Maybe some vendor lock-in concerns. And Apple's stance on not unlocking encrypted phones for investigations can be a point of friction.
How does it stack up against Android in this specific context, briefly?
Generally, iOS is seen as maybe more secure out of the box, simpler management sometimes. Android offers more hardware choice, often lower cost, and more customization flexibility. Both have strong MDM support now. Both have big app ecosystems. iOS updates are usually faster, more consistent across devices.
Got it. So for an agency choosing iOS, what are the key things they must consider?
Definitely compliance, CJIS rules for law enforcement data, for example. Strong security policies, passwords, encryption, vetting apps. A solid MDM strategy is non-negotiable. Total cost of ownership, not just the device price. User training. And now getting those government procurement contracts.
Okay, so it really boils down to this. No secret government iOS. It's the iOS we know, but hardened and enhanced through Apple's government programs, MDM, FirstNet readiness, and a whole suite of specialized apps.
That sums it up well. It's about layering the necessary security and functionality onto a platform they already know how to build and secure effectively.
Which leaves us with a final thought for you. As cyber threats evolve and mobile tech keeps racing forward, how might that balance security versus customization versus cost shift things for first responders and their mobile platforms in the future? Something to think about. Thanks for this deep dive.